Welcome to the SIWIKE podcast, the only podcast that shares the stuff you didn't know you needed to know about jobs, careers, and life. The SIWIKE podcast, the stuff I wish I knew earlier.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the SIWIKE Stuff I Wish I Knew Earlier podcast. We're here again with one of our guest mentors, Minty. And today we thought we'd talk about health, well, physical health to be specific. And when I typically talk about health or physical health, I usually talk about three pillars: exercise, nutrition, and sleep. So we'll go into each one of those categories and share our experiences. But keep in mind that neither of us are medically trained professionals. So we're just going to share our stories, what we know, what we understand, and what has worked for us. And then the listeners, you can do whatever you want with the information. But hopefully it'll give you some suggestions in terms of what you can do, and see if it'll be helpful for us. So I thought we'd probably get into nutrition first. So, or maybe you want to give us a little bit of your story in terms of health, because I know you're trying to get into a health and wellness challenge. So maybe give us some background in terms of that.
Okay, sure. So currently right now on my YouTube channel, I am doing a kind of weight loss journey. I've done I'm trying to do like the intro video and follow like week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And basically each week I'll be like updating you on like my exercises, what I've been eating, sharing some motivation tips and stuff like that. So each week I'll be doing that. And then I think monthly I'll be sharing like my weight and seeing like if it went lower or if it went higher, and like just telling you like the real stuff about my weight and how it's been fluctuating and what's been happening. So like I really got into like health and fitness like at a young age. I think it was because of my dad. He was very like active and he ingrained it into me at a young age. So I was always like part of track. I was always I tried out for all the sports teams. I was really into gym. Gym was like my ultimate favorite subject. So yeah, so I always like was just obsessed with like working out. Like I think the first time I picked up a dumbbell was like when I was 6 years old. Like I was doing like little like bicep curls and stuff like that. So I was just always working out. I think I kind of lost that in like high school because I was more like focused on my studies. So so being active wasn't that important for me. And I think I got back into it in like university because you know what they say, like the freshman 15.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely went through that. So
I've heard the COVID 15 and all that.
Yeah, that too. Yes. So I definitely gained some weight because I mean, like in university, you kind of get into like the party scene and like you eat really badly. I was eating bad, like fast food. I was doing Uber Eats. It was really bad. So that all catches up to you. And that's when I decided to finally like sign up at Good Life Fitness. So I became a member and I started working out like weekly. Well, no, I was working out like three to 4 times a week. And I started to just like get healthier and just focus on myself and bettering myself. And that's where I'm currently at right now. I'm just working out, bettering myself. Definitely COVID has been a push for me. It's definitely been a reason for me to be active and better myself because like we're in lockdown. So there's nothing much we can do. And like the gyms are closed. So I had to be creative with like my whole workout routine. So I've been doing like simple exercises, like bodyweight exercises. I've been doing cardio in terms of like going for walks and going for bike rides, and also just working out on my stationary bike. So that's mainly my process to getting into fitness.
Cool. So mine, I don't think is that different, but I guess it is. So I was more on a scrawny kid growing up, right? So I think when I graduated, I was like 5'9", 120 pounds, like soaking wet type of thing, right? So I was on the lowest end of the BMI scale that there could be. And my family, they would have like these kind of weight loss competitions, whereas I had like weight gain competitions where like I would eat, what were those? Ensure, like the meal supplements. So I would have a meal and then an Ensure, and then I would, after like I think 2 or 3 weeks, I gained like a whole pound, right? So and well, poor me, because I'm not able to lose weight. But then obviously I went on the other side, that after I hit kind of like 30 or 25, 30, then I actually had to work to keep the weight off, right? So it was more challenging. So I was always pretty active as a kid, mostly kind of volleyball, badminton is what I played, just kind of recreationally, never anything competitively too much. But yeah, I try to get out, but definitely once you start working, especially if you're in a job that requires a lot of computer stuff, then you start sitting a lot, and obviously COVID's not making it any better. But I find that I'm actually, because I started some of my health and wellness prep, I guess, before COVID, that I was able to weather it a little bit more. But I think it'd be good if we kind of delved into kind of each of those three areas, so that we can talk a little bit more and give folks some suggestions. So talk to us a little bit about what are some of the things that you've done from a nutrition perspective. So maybe you followed some of the fads, maybe you found things that worked, but what are some of the things that you did that helped you out?
So I've definitely tried keto. Um, for me personally, like I wouldn't recommend it. I lost a few pounds, but it's not something I would do like long term, because I really couldn't handle like the whole keto flu in the beginning. So basically that's like when you get like a headache and you start to feel like chills and you're just like really hungry. I couldn't deal with that. So I wouldn't recommend that, but that's just for me. I know it works for some people. Um, I've also been I want to try doing like vegan and being vegetarian, because
Okay.
for some reason, like as I've gotten older, I've just been feeling really like I've started to care a lot about animals. Like I just feel bad about eating like a chicken, like a dead chicken and like a dead turkey. Like, oh, I can't do it. And so that's something I've been trying to get into. And yeah, basically right now I've just been eating like just real food. So like um just like oatmeal. Um, I've been eating like rice and stuff like fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. So like potatoes, sweet potatoes, and just drinking a lot of water, because hydration is really important. So those are basically the things I've been doing.
Yeah, I think from what I've understood, so I haven't ever got fully into the keto thing. What I've heard is that it actually works better for men than it does for women, just because of all the hormones and stuff like that. And it's definitely not one of those things that you want to live long term, right? It's something almost like a cleanse, where you might do keto for like a week or two. But if you did it long term, then that's probably very, very detrimental. Hydration, super important. What I've started doing in COVID is basically, before I go down for my meetings, I'll drink like a huge glass of water, and then it actually gives me kind of like a biological alarm because I'll be forced to get up off my chair so that nature can do its business, and I find that that's helpful, because I'm in the basement, so sometimes just walking up and down the stairs is adding more movement in the day, and I definitely echo the whole real foods thing. I'm trying to minimize all the stuff from the pantry, the stuff with the ingredients you can't pronounce and all that sort of stuff. I still succumb because I love like the little snacks and stuff, but I try to do more than I did before, right? So instead of like 7 days a week on junk food, maybe 6 days, and then 5, and then 4, and then my weekends are, I guess, my cheat days. And I do want to at some point probably try more of that kind of vegan vegetarian as well, because I totally get the whole like animal cruelty, and there's research out there that says that like if we all went vegetarian, actually the environment would be so much better, because like a lot of the animal husbandry is what they call it, when you raise animals for stock and stuff like that, is causing like so much of the world's environmental issues. So I'll try to do my part, but unfortunately I do like my meat, right? I'm a huge fan of bacon, right? So it's kind of like, I don't know if I could give that up, but maybe it's more of a treat than it's a daily thing. Like it wouldn't be a daily thing anyway. One of the things that actually have helped me most recently is I actually got into a little bit of discussion on the psychology of eating, right? So one of the things that helped is we tend to eat, or we tend to do things for four main reasons. One of it is for fuel, because we biologically need it, right? We do it for joy, because it just tastes really good, and we want to give us that pleasure. And the other two are kind of mistaken for the other ones, where we do it based on habit, right? And then the last one is escape, right? So fuel, we definitely need that, right? But the thing is, humans can probably go 1 or 2 weeks without food, right? And our ancestors who did that. So the fact that we're actually eating like 3 times a day is a recent invention, right? Like breakfast, lunch are more kind of marketing and factory, the industrialization, the artifacts of that, versus actually humans actually need it. But joy, like humans have always eaten for joy, whether it's with family and friends, social or whatever. So we definitely need those two. The habit, it goes back to what I said, right? Like, why do we need to eat at 12 o'clock? I've kind of talked about that with folks. It's like, sometimes it's like, oh, I think I should eat something because it's 12, right? I'm not even hungry, but I think I can do it. I don't know if you've ever encountered that, but
Definitely. I feel like for me, I've had times where it's like, oh, it's 12 o'clock, I should eat and stuff like that. But like now what I've been doing is like, I've just been eating like every 3 to 4 hours so that like my blood sugar is like at an appropriate level.
For sure, and there's definitely something to be said about being like the hangry when your blood sugar is a little bit lower. So for some people, you need to make sure that comes into correction. And then the last thing is escape, right? So sometimes you eat not because you want to or whatever. It's because you need to kind of fill yourself up with something. Sometimes it's actually out of boredom, right? You just give yourself something to do, right? And usually that's the worst type of eating because like you don't need it at all. It doesn't really give you joy. You're not really enjoying the food that you eat, and then you feel horrible afterwards. So if you can pause before you grab anything to eat and think of if and it's any one of those four, and I found that helped a lot, at least from my perspective. So what are some of the other things that you felt were helpful for you from a nutrition perspective? Any kind of recent things you've tried or heard of that they're looking to try?
So definitely I've tried like just eating like every 3 to 4 hours because I know that like I start feeling weird. Like I get this really uncomfortable feeling in my stomach and my head. I get a bad headache when I don't eat. So I've been trying to do that. Every morning I try to like drink a glass of water. I've also been trying to like drink a glass of water like 30 minutes before I eat a meal so that I feel fuller
Right.
before like so that I know how much that I'm not overeating. And I think that's it. That's all that I've really tried so far. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that echoes one practice that I've heard where if you feel hungry, so if you want a snack or whatever, drink a glass of water first and then wait 5 or 10 minutes because chances are people actually mistake their urge for food. They mistake being hungry with being thirsty, right? Sometimes it's your body saying that you need water, but meanwhile, it actually means that you are just thirsty. So yeah, I think that gives folks a couple of things to take a look at. So there might be a whole bunch of things from a nutrition side, but I think the basic guidance is eat more real food, right? The ones without kind of ingredients you can't pronounce, and water I think is a good one. And then it's your choice whether you want to go vegan or keto or whatever it is, and then figure out why you're eating. So if we move on to sleep, so what is kind of your sleep situation? Are you getting enough? Are you getting quality sleep as well?
So right now, currently, I've been trying to get like 7 hours at least daily, and I've been doing pretty well at that. I know they say like you should get like 8 hours, but for me, 7 hours is enough for me. And I would say I'm getting quality sleep. Back when I was like working at Good Life, I wouldn't get like that much sleep. I would actually work on like an hour to 3 hours of sleep, which was really bad. Yeah, for me, I think sleep is so important because when I don't get enough sleep, I feel terrible and like my energy is not there and like I just like feel terrible. Like I can't I'm not like happy, I'm not like emotional. Like I'm kind of just dead in emotion. So I definitely think sleep is very important and everyone should get 7 to 9 hours of sleep.
Yeah, I would echo that. I think when I was younger, I almost prided myself on how little sleep I got, right? It was almost a badge of honor. It's like, yeah, I had 4 hours of sleep and I'm still able to function, all that. But obviously that's not a good thing now when you realize how important it is. It helps like kind of restore so many like biological processes and cleanse and get rid of a whole bunch of things. And then helps you heal and grow and build muscle and things like that. So it's definitely helpful. I think a couple of things that have helped me are from the sleep side are things like blackout liners, right? So I don't know how dark your room is, but I find that when there's too much light in the room, then it makes for worse sleep. And I actually found I bought those blue light blocking sunglasses, like the Tony Stark, like the orange tinted glasses. And I find that those help because if I wear them right before I go to bed, I get tired faster, right? So because someone was talking about on your phone and on your computer, they have like those ones that change the color so it's less blue and more like orange or whatever, which is great. But what I found is that the big problem is not necessarily your screen. It's all the lights around, right? Because even though your screen is orange or whatever, but all the lights around you are still blue, so it's not really helping. So those glasses help me. And one of the things that I found is it's really the quality of sleep versus the quantity. And one thing from a quality perspective is understanding your sleep cycles. So most people have about a 1.5 hour sleep cycle. So you might want to consider like 1 or 1.5 hours sleep. But if you get like 8 or 8.5, then sometimes that's horrible for you, right? So just making sure you're waking up at the right time. And some people use kind of like the different Fitbits or whatever sleep monitoring things that help. But I find that's helpful because sleep is so important. And I found that when you're younger, you need less sleep. When you're kind of in the middle of your career, you need more. And then apparently when you're kind of a senior, then you need less again, right? So we can look forward to less sleep later on, but not for a few more decades at least for us. So any other experiences with sleep that you found kind of useful for you in the past?
I definitely recommend the whole Fitbit and like Apple Watch. Apple Watch. Those have definitely helped me like when I'm sleeping, because I get to track my sleep and see like how many hours I've gotten and how much quality sleep I've gotten. So those are really helpful. I also think earplugs are helpful, especially if you have like like a noisy family or like you live near like the highway or something, like a busy road. Earplugs are definitely helpful. I've also even tried this thing where it's like you make a mixture of like water and lavender oil.
Okay.
I've tried to like spray that. You spray that around your room and your pillow, and apparently it helps you like sleep.
Yeah.
It helps you sleep at night. So like I've definitely used that, and it's helped me a lot too. So yeah, those are basically the main things I've used for sleeping.
Cool. I think there's a hotel that I stayed at once, and they had apparently like sleep specialists that went into the hotel and gave us all these kind of like sleep aids. And one of it was like a lavender water spray. So that kind of makes sense in there. And what do you say to the people where like, well, I don't wear earplugs because I'm afraid that I might miss my alarm?
I mean, if you're wearing a like an Apple Watch, that helps because it vibrates on your Apple Watch. I mean, you could also turn up the volume on your phone too, or your alarm. I think that would help too. Yeah, I think those would help.
I think one suggestion I've heard from folks is to also have your phone or all electronics outside of your room and sleep with like an analog, like the non what's called like non-signal emitting phone, because sometimes it's the phone and like being in all the signals that are coming out that disrupt sleep patterns too, right? I haven't actually tried that, but maybe that's one of those things that I'll do eventually. So yeah, hopefully that gives folks a few ideas on what to take a look at from a sleep perspective. But if we move to kind of the last category of exercise, so you mentioned a few things in terms of body weight exercise and stuff like that. What's worked for you, and obviously having worked at Good Life, what has kind of helped yourself, your clients, and the folks that you work with, and what are the ones that don't work for you for sure?
Okay, so what's worked for me is sorry. What's worked for me is like doing strength training exercises. So like what I do is like I have a routine where like I work out 5 days a week, and each day I'll do a different muscle. I'll work out a different muscle. So like let's for example say Monday I'll do legs. And then after I do my strength training exercises, I always do like 30 minutes to like 45 minutes of cardio. And that could be like anything from like a walk, from a bike ride, to being on the stationary bike, elliptical trainers, any of those. I love the Stairmaster. That's really, that one really helps a lot. It makes you sweat a lot. So definitely the Stairmaster. Yeah, those have really worked out for me. Just like doing strength training, doing strength training for like 30 minutes to an hour, and then doing like cardio right after. That could be really helpful to lose weight and gain muscle if that's your goal. Also, I like to do yoga before I do my exercises. So I do like 10 minutes of yoga just to stretch out my muscles and make sure I'm like ready to do my exercise. And then after I do my workout, I like to do like meditation. I would do like 5 to 10 minutes of meditation and just make sure like I'm like in a calm place. And I think those could be really helpful for working out and losing weight if that's your goal.
That's interesting because I would have thought that the meditation happens before, because you kind of work out, you have a lot of adrenaline in there, and then, but it makes sense to do it after because you're trying to calm yourself down and get
Like
all the extra stuff out of there. And yeah, I think mine is a little bit different, where I tend to do more kind of shorter and more frequent exercises, where on a daily basis, I would do bodyweight exercises, so push-ups, crunches, and squats and things like that. But I might do 10, 15 minutes every morning, and then as many as I can like throughout the day, right? So I mentioned my biological alarm clock going up and down the stairs with the water, but after every meeting, I'll try to do like 5 or 10 squats, right? I have a little rebounder, a mini trampoline that I'll jump up and down, which I find apparently, like NASA said, that's one of the best exercises because it helps move like all the lymph, which is the other system other than your blood system that kind of detoxes yourself too. And the fact that we're sitting all day doesn't allow that lymph to move, so it actually cleanses your body more. Which I do find a difference when I have a day when I remember to do it versus a day when I don't. And then from the body weight exercises, what I found is what they call TUT, time under tension. So most people, when they do it, they'll do a quick push-up, like a 1, 2. I've actually started doing what I call like 10-second push-ups, which is like 1, 2, 3, 4, and actually take 10 seconds to go down and then 10 seconds to go back up. And then I find that's a totally different type of workout. Like I'll still do the quick ones, but it's much more intense. And the first time I did it, like my muscles were shaking because I don't even think I had those proper muscles, so I couldn't even stabilize myself. And after a while, it helped, and I find that it makes me feel a little stronger. I don't know if I truly am, but it makes me feel stronger. So those things help, and I would normally do the meditation before, but you know what? Now, as you mentioned, I'll probably switch to doing it after because that makes sense. And then one thing that I've always cautioned people about from an exercise perspective is and just a general nutrition, is to watch weight versus muscle, right? Because a lot of people are focused on losing weight, right? But the challenge is that muscle actually weighs more than fat, right? And the goal is to kind of get rid of the fat, not to lose the muscle, right? So if you're doing things and behaviors to kind of get rid of your muscle, that's not a good thing, right? So just understanding that you might actually weigh more, but as long as you're more compact and trim and slender, that's probably what you're looking for, not the weight. And even with the exercise, I think someone told me that you can't outwork out your mouth, right? So it's really most of kind of health and wellness will focus more on nutrition, and exercise is kind of the bonus that helps there. But yeah, what are some other things from an exercise perspective that you've kind of seen others work for others, or yourself, or things that you might be looking to try later on?
I definitely agree with what you said about the whole weight and weighing yourself. I think I try to encourage people to like weigh themselves like monthly instead of doing it like every day or weekly, because obviously the number isn't always like right. So I think the best way to track your weight if you're trying to lose weight is just to do measurements. Do measurements like weekly, weigh yourself monthly, and see if you're losing any weight that way. What I've been doing also body weight exercises have been something I've been mainly doing right now, ever since the whole lockdown, because the gyms are closed. Sure. So I definitely encourage like doing squats, doing push-ups, doing sit-ups, and doing like a lot of body weight exercises. And also, people don't realize, but like walking is honestly so helpful too. Just like going for like a 30-minute walk or an hour walk, it's really helpful. You can lose a lot of weight that way, lose a lot of calories. So just going for a walk outside can also be very helpful.
Yeah, what that reminds me of is there's a book called Blue Zones, which talks about the places in the world where there are the most centenarians, so the people that live over the age of 100, and none of them go to like the gym and work out and all that sort of stuff, but they're in places where like their neighbors are like a mile or two away. So in order for them to visit them, they actually have to walk, or they do a lot of gardening or whatever. So it is that walking and the movement in the day that really helps with the health. And one thing that I also wanted to mention is there's also a movement for like the HIIT training, the high intensity interval training. So this is one in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you can get a really like impactful workout,
Yes.
but without necessarily like having to spend like an hour in the gym, that sort of thing. So I encourage folks to look at those types of things as well. Some of them are like the Tabata workouts where you do like 30 seconds of jumping jacks, but like really all out. And then you take like a 5 second break, and then 30 seconds of like running on the spot, and then or burpees, or like whatever it is, right? And a different combination for different sets of muscles. And yeah, within like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, you're probably spent. So, and that'll help with both kind of the muscle and the cardio. But just doing 5 minutes a day is not necessarily going to help, right? So if you do that and walk throughout the day, I think that can be a really good combination of stuff. So cool. I think that gives folks a good insight into a bunch of things from a health perspective, from a physical health perspective. So we talked a little bit on the nutrition side, sleep side, and exercise. Are there any kind of parting words or other things that you'd want to say for folks on the physical wellness part?
I want to tell people that you don't necessarily have to have like exercise equipment, because I know like with the gyms closing, there's not like some people don't have exercise equipment at home, but you can just do body weight exercises. Like we mentioned, you can also just go for a walk. And if you have a bike, you can go for a bike ride, stuff like that. There's a lot of, there's also even outdoor like exercise gyms at different parks. So you can also do that. And like those can be very beneficial. But number one, focus on your nutrition, because that's very important. You can never work out a bad diet.
100%. Yeah. So definitely go back to that real food, and add more movement to your day. So one of the things that I've been watching is kind of how to add different exercises. So when you're cooking or when you're standing, just do a couple of calf raises. Right? It's like, oh yeah, just remember to do that. Or I'll do push-ups, but instead of doing like a flat push-ups, do it like incline off your stairs, right? And just kind of on the first, second, third stair, and see how high you can kind of go, and then like just crank out like 5 or 10 of them, and then go and do your own thing. And that extra movement, I think, adds a lot of value. At least it has for me, and hopefully it does for other people. So yeah. Thanks for joining us again, Minty, for and sharing your insights in the realm of physical health, and hopefully that gives folks a lot of good suggestions in terms of what they could do to take control of their own health.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us on the SIWIKE Stuff I Wish I Knew Earlier, the podcast. If you like the podcast, please subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you found this podcast. And if you can give us a review, that would be very appreciated. Feel free to contact me on LinkedIn at Luki Danu, LUKIDANU, and the same on most social media platforms. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks. Bye.